Hey buds, and welcome back to my channel. So, I'm back on my bullshniz. The term Transtrender. Now you see, when you look up the word Transtrender on Google, what you end up getting is first an Urban Dictionary definition, which proves the legitimacy of the word, obviously. And you get a bunch of references to articles that ask why the trans community needs to ban the word transgender, and a lot of articles talking about basically what I'm about to tell you. Transgender is a word used by people called trans medicalists. And now when you search up trans medicalist, you get the word true scum. Trans medicalist and trans fundamentalist people are people who are of the belief that if you do not physically transition your body to match your gender identity, that you are not transgender and do not experience dysphoria. However, gender is experienced within the mind, and at times can have nothing to do with your body and everything to do with how you're perceived. So while someone may want to socially transition and use pronouns relating to their gender identity, they may not want or have the funds to transition physically. And for someone to assume that just because someone is unable to or just plain does not want to mutilate their body, that's not any reason to tell them that their gender is not legitimate. Searching for one's gender happens with pretty much every person, including cis people. The way that they explore their gender is they explore styles. Do they want to be tomboyish? Do they want to be feminine? Do they enjoy? Do they feel good in these expressions of self? And this includes people who may change their mind down the road. It is extremely transphobic to tell people that they cannot be transgender or that they're a transtrender because they don't have the means or the desire to physically cause themselves what could be lifetime scarring, infertility, and many other issues just to fit someone else's idea of what a man or a woman looks like. It is reinforcing the oppression of non-binary people to use the word transtrender. And I personally have an issue with it because it reminds me of people like a dad of one of my exes who treated me like my gender wasn't legitimate because I lived with a poor family that couldn't afford to give me tea even if my mom didn't absolutely refuse. And used this as a reason to misgender me and compared me to a friend of mine who had the money and the means to physically transition very early after coming out, as if that was my fault. This is the damage that is done when we have other trans people and TERFs reinforcing true scum mentalities and oppressing other people so that they look like the better trans person. This is something that bothers me on a very deep level, and I'm very tired of seeing it in the trans community. I'm tired of seeing it from other transgender people who should know what it's like. the way that people just think they can determine what someone else feels within themselves just because it doesn't fit their mold of what they think it's supposed to look like to be insert thing here. Like, for example, it's delegitimizing of non-binary people to say that someone is not transgender because they have boobs or they have a dick. Since when is gender equivalent to one's genitals? The answer is it's not, and it's been proven with science. Gender has been confirmed to be a spectrum, both on the chromosome level and on a psychological level. And due to these things, the transmedicalist or transfundamentalist bullshit is not valid. It's completely been debunked. It was debunked fucking years ago. Get with the program. I'm tired of hearing this crap. If you can't feel good about yourself without delegitimizing a huge amount of people and attacking other transgender people or potentially transgender people, people who are exploring their gender and trying to find themselves like any other fucking person on this planet, then you're a piece of crap. Point blank, period. So stop. I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm still not sorry for my video towards Calvin. What he said was fucked up. What he posts is fucked up. The way he is educating young transgender people into thinking in trans medicalist terms is messed up. When I was a young trans person, I fell prey to that too. I fell prey to the belief that if you don't constantly bind, if you don't put yourself through physical pain, then you're not a transgender person. You're not trans enough for them. And that's wrong. I mistreated a close friend of mine at the time because of that. I caused them immense amounts of pain and made them feel extremely dysphoric because I picked up beliefs from people like Calvin when I was just coming out and I was vulnerable and didn't know anything about what was happening to me. That's why this is important. And that's why I'm sitting here at 7:45 in the morning yelling at you about this, and probably pissing off my neighbors. I know I sound angry, but it comes from a place of deep frustration and disappointment. I want better for the whole community. I want us to be together, to be as one, to be able to stand up to the fucked up shit happening. Of all the times for this kind of discourse, you're really gonna do this post-Trump? We're in a time where we need to support each other, not tear each other down. And if your only purpose with your content is to point out what's wrong with someone else's gender transition because it doesn't look like yours, then your content isn't worth crap. And you need to get a better freaking imagination. Thank you very much. And I'll see you next time on the other side of the screen.